Let's solve one-step equations. We're going to do this with inverse operations. Operations are the math symbols we use, so adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. I like to use a little dot for multiply, or sometimes we use parentheses. That way in Algebra 1 we don't get confused with the x. Now inverse just means the opposite, so what we're going to do is we're undoing each of these operations. And they come in pairs, so the opposite of adding is subtracting, and the opposite of multiplying is dividing, and vice versa. Let's go ahead and practice some of these problems. Practice solving by undoing. So in example 1, the opposite of adding 17 would be to subtract 17. And when we do that, we're going to get a nice 0 that comes out of here. Remember, we're doing the same thing to both sides of the equation. So x plus 0 is just the same thing as x equals, and this is going to be 6. Feel free to use a calculator to double check me. I'm going to go ahead and check my answer by putting that in place of the x in the original equation. And sure enough, 6 plus 17 does equal 23, so that works out. For example 2, we want to do the opposite of subtraction. So this time we're going to add on both sides. What do we add? We add the 14 because we care about this side with the m. So we're going to go ahead and add 14. It doesn't even matter what's on the right-hand side. We care about getting the m alone. This is going to zero out. M equals 12. Check your work. 12 minus 14. Sure enough, it's negative 2. This one's a little bit trickier. What's happening between the negative 4 and the n? This is actually multiplication because the negative belongs to the 4. I'm not subtracting n, I'm multiplying by n. Remember, the opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to show these little division signs on both sides. Now, negative 4 divided by negative 4 is not 0, it's a 1. So 1n equals, this is going to be 12. The negative divided by negative is a positive. So that's the same thing as saying n equals 12. Let's go ahead and check our answer here. So plug it back in for n. Negative 4 times 12 is negative 48. Example 3. So what's happening in this problem is it is currently dividing, so the opposite of dividing is going to be multiply. I'm going to show this by using a big parentheses times 6. Remember that we're multiplying the entire thing, not just the bottom, but we're actually multiplying times a 6 over 1, if you want to think about it that way. And then this 6 and this 6 cancel to a nice 1, because I'm multiplying and dividing by the same thing. So that gives me p equals 0 times 6 is 0. Remember, you can't divide by 0, but you can do 0 divided by anything else. So 0 divided by 6, yep, that equals 0. Example 5. Now this one is not multiplying, we're subtracting a negative, and the opposite of subtracting a negative is to add something. So this is going to be k plus 3. Let's rewrite that equation to make it a little easier to solve. K plus 3 equals 1. To undo the addition, we're going to subtract on both sides. What we're subtracting is the 3. So k equals negative 2. Got a little carried away and used pink there, but negative 2 in k. Let's practice this again. Now the original problem, let's try it in there. So the original problem, so you can see it real clearly, negative 2 minus a negative 3 equals, remember, keep change if you've ever learned it that way. So negative 2 plus 3 is going to be a positive 1. Okay. Example 6, to undo division, we're going to multiply, and we want to multiply by the exact same thing. So let's multiply not just by 2, but by a negative 2. Don't get thrown off by the variable being on the right-hand side. We still have the exact same process. We're just undoing to get the variable alone. Our goal is to get the c alone here. Negative 2 times 10. We're not subtracting, we're multiplying. That's going to be negative 20. And then we'll check our answer. Put the negative 20 back in for c. So negative 20 divided by negative 2. It doesn't even matter which side of the equal sign I put this on, but I'm going to go ahead and go left to right. So negative 20 divided by negative 2 is a positive 10. All right, and that's how we solve by undoing.